Welcome to the podcast Appetite for Distortion, episode number 324. My name is Brando. And speaking of four, I think you're the first fourth time guest I've ever had, Arian.
Huh. All right.
Not quite the five timers club of Saturday Night Live, you know.
I'm working on it.
But thank you. So Arian Buhler joining the podcast. And for those who don't know the name, you absolutely know his work if you listen to this, Guns N' Roses themed bar mitzvah party of a podcast, broadcast, whatever I like to call it. We first met Arian back in episode 82. So that was 2018. Like, I feel like a different person back then. I don't know. Like, I know you've had a lot happen to you. The world has had a lot happen to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So episode 82, episode 94, and episode 212, if you want to kind of learn about Arian and his Rastafarian upbringing and how he got involved with the Bob Marley estate and how he first got involved with Guns N' Roses. I actually put up a clip on our YouTube of that first interview that we did when you first talking about getting into Guns N' Roses. But Arian, I just feel like because I follow you on social media and I root for you because, again, you've been on the show for a few times, and it's just, I believe we've spoken since you were nominated for a Grammy for the box set, and it's just so wonderful to, again, just to see you in person. I guess before we get started, just thank you for your time and just your awesome background if you're watching this on Zoom, on YouTube.
Oh, I mean, it's my pleasure. Nice to talk to you again. And yeah, things have definitely over since we last talked, there's been a lot of changes, like you said, in the world and all that stuff. But things are good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I've kind of got to I think over the break when the pandemic first started. So if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, I'll have to pan up and I have to reorganize Arian. So you'll see a few of your works. Remember when you sent me over I did. Yeah. Hawaii, and unfortunately, due to my lo-fi garbage camera, you can't see Arian's autograph on it, which is just amazing. And did you? I forget the do that Duff one from?
Oh, yeah, that was mine too. Yeah, those three that I did for New York.
Yeah, the Gangs of New York. So I have two official, numbered Arian Buhler, and I have three, but it's not framed yet. Like I said, I need to reorganize. Shout out to listener Eric Peacher, who went to the Fargo show, one of your works that we're going to talk about today. Fargo, we're going to talk about that. So I have three Arian Buhlers, and so it's just, you're always with me, even though we're finally together. I don't know if that sounds creepy or not.
No, it's not creepy. So you got a Fargo poster?
Yeah, I did. You know what? And thank you again to Eric. I didn't even ask for it, and I know, which is out of your control. Yeah, they're sold at the show for $50, but aftermarket retail, they skyrocket. He wouldn't even take the $50. He just gave it to me for free. That's
super cool.
Yeah, I don't have the Joe Rogan listening base, but I have a great listening base. I will say that. And you told me before, but where are you located in your awesome, office space where it has, I see, I don't want to sound like an intelligent idiot. Are those snowboards or skateboards behind you?
Those are skateboards.
Okay, all right.
It's just skateboard art. That's I grew up in that whole sort of skate surf culture, and so it's just stuff that some of those. There's a couple posters that are mine. There's some stuff from Jamaica, and those are skateboard decks.
Okay, because I wasn't sure because I also see the surfboard or the boogie board. I don't know technically.
Yeah, that's a surfboard.
Okay. Yep. Obviously, I don't get to the beach much. I don't know what's going on. I was trying to sound hip and cool and still hang on to Guns N' Roses for some reason as the source of that. And you're in North Carolina? That's where you are now?
I'm there now. Yeah, I moved about a year ago from Florida. So I was in Florida for a lot of years, and then it was just time for a change. So we kind of moved to the mountains.
Okay, very cool. One of my good friends moved from Long Island to North Carolina, and a state I would love to visit. I hear nothing but wonderful things, but That's why I asked. I was like, oh, where is he? Because we, again, go back to those early Arian Buhler episodes and we learned about Florida and again, how you connected to the Marley estate and all the amazing things that you're able to, accomplish down there. So I don't know. Florida is kind of an interesting state. Maybe it's good you get out of there. Too many Florida man accidents. Stay away from that.
There's definitely a lot of Florida man stuff. Yeah, it was time for a change. So I'd been there for 30, 32 or 33 years. And so off and on, I mean, I'd moved around, but that was like my home sort of base for a long time. But, like I said, it was time for the town that I was living in, really cool town, and I always loved it, but it just started to get super crowded. And so,
Okay.
just felt like it's time for something new.
Okay. And it's not recent now, but maybe because all of COVID years counts as 1 year. Right before it, I moved to Queens from Long Island. That's where I was living. So I had a new apartment, trying to reorganize, and that's why I'm obviously following you on Instagram, and I'm like, you know what? And I see all this Dave Matthews stuff that my fiance's putting up, and I don't know how you feel about Dave Matthews. I guess not. I got to balance it out, with Guns N' Roses stuff. I mean, we meet on the Beatles. I had to get more GNR decor, and at the time, they weren't touring, so it's not like I can go to a show and get a lithograph. I did look for it. I'll be honest. I don't think you did it. It was the Austin, Texas, the last show that I was at, the Austin City Limits show. Did you do that one?
Was there 2 shows? I feel like I did one.
A weekend 1 and a weekend 2. I bought the T-shirt actually, but not the lithograph.
Okay.
It has kind of like a Grim Reaper. That's like the one. We're going to show you more of your artwork that you did on this tour, which is what.
Yeah, I don't think I did that one though. I don't think I did that one.
Good. I'm glad I didn't buy it then. I mean, for one, I didn't want to carry that around all, festival long. But again, at the beginning, I'm like, you know what? I'm working from home. I'm not really spending money on gas anymore. I want to make a purchase and make my home look cool. I want to buy an Arian Buhler. That's what I want. Direct from the guy. It's going to mean something to me. And yeah, I haven't been to Hawaii. And this is something I want people to understand, and we can reiterate it. It's not like Arian has all these extras of his work. It takes a lot to part with his babies.
Yeah, I do have very few. There's some I don't have at all, and then there's some that I have just a few of. So yeah, it's just a limit. Yeah, very limited.
So I think because people would ask that, especially the first few episodes that we did together, ask him if he has extras to this and that. So just to be clear at the beginning, he doesn't. So for him to give me anything, I was just like, whatever you may have available. And he did. And I'm like, can you sign it for me? And so thank you. It's been hanging on. I got to get a better camera, but a better frame, because the borders are too thick where it blocks off the what number it is out of 250. So I forget.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was my pleasure. I'm glad that I was able to have one that that you were interested in, and yeah, so yeah, I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, man. So I want to talk about, because I did get some of your work again from this current tour, even though I didn't go to Fargo, but I didn't get to. I went to the first show, and I wanted to get your lithograph. I thought for the very first show of Guns N' Roses coming back at Hershey Park.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't going to go to originally. Long story short, which another piece of work you did, so I guess it makes sense to bring it up. I was supposed to be in Chicago, where my fiance is from, when the original Wrigley Field date was supposed to be. And I had my heart set on that, and then it got rescheduled date. So we decided, and it was her idea, let's just go to another random show that we can drive to. That happened to be Hershey. And I spoke to a listener, and forgive me for, maybe I can find it actually. I should have, because I posted yesterday all of your lithographs and just getting all these amazing comments about them and their favorites and everything. That they waited online for an hour and a half for this one.
Okay, for the Hershey one?
Yeah. So right now, let's share the screen. Let's get fancy-fied, and let's share it. So I have it up right here. All right. And so this is the first one. So don't let me poorly explain it. You explained it, why a listener, and I don't blame them. It is incredible. It reminds, I don't even know. I'll describe it poorly in my Brando way after, but What did you do for this one, Hershey, Pennsylvania, July 31st, 2012? Excuse me, 2021.
Well, there was a couple different ideas, and then sketches and stuff. And this one turned out to be, we were trying to come up with something. I was trying to come up with something that was, the kind of go-to thing was like, everybody thinks about chocolate, like especially with that whole Hershey's thing. And that was just sort of felt like it'd been done before. So it was like, well, let's try something different. And so I started to research Hershey, like Hershey Park. And so they have this ride that's there. And actually, right off the top of my head, I can't think of the name of the ride, but it was inspired by that ride, plus sort of their Guns N' Roses sort of starting off on this new journey. And so it was inspired by that, and sort of the guy standing there looking out into the future in some sort of way. But it's also inspired by a little bit of like comic book art too. Like it's got kind of like a I don't know. There's a guy named Jack Kirby who's a famous Marvel illustrator, and he did a bunch of really cool stuff. And so it's sort of inspired by that sort of style of art too. So galaxies and kind of sort of, like I said, sort of taking off on his journey. So anyway, that's what that one's about.
I see the comic book galaxy thing because one of the first things that comes to mind is just one of those space episodes of the X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think it's coming back actually, but which is just like the greatest news. Everything's coming back. Look at it. We're effing back. Guns N' Roses. It all ties together. Or that 80s kind of or gem, kind of thing to it. But yeah,
Yeah.
little killer clowns aspect to it, but the use of colors is just is fantastic. What's the most important thing to you when you attack a thing like this? Like getting the colors right, getting the scheme right, because that's what pops out before you even see everything else that's going on. Like now I'm noticing the guns in the roses floating in outer space. Now,
Yeah.
and I'm like, look when what is this? So you're at the top. Are these smiley faces? What are these up here? Just big planets? No.
Yeah, those are planets. So I mean, the most important thing for me, generally speaking, when I'm thinking about a design, is just is it going to be? I want to make it aesthetically pleasing, just in general. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, is somebody going to want to look at that on their wall? Or that's sort of my first thought, and then I go into the details. And with this one, the colors are sort of based on something from the park too, like I said, a ride from the park. And so, but it's also inspired by Marvel did these prints with this company called Third Eye in like I think it was like 1970, 1971, and they're all neon, kind of like black light posters, and they're just really cool looking. If anybody checks out Marvel Third Eye posters, you'll see what I'm talking about. And so it was kind of like I said, it was inspired by the combination of those things. So, and this, I have a copy of this actual poster, the print of it, and the colors are, the printer that printed these did an amazing job. It looks great.
It really does. I mean, totally worth, kudos to the guy who waited an hour and a half. I mean,
I think some people saw it and was like, didn't know what to think of it. As far as I think I got some, I posted it on my Instagram. I think some people were like, what is this? Because it was definitely like a departure from some of the other stuff.
But I like what you said about, and part, if you're watching on YouTube, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. See, I'm still recovering from, I told Arian the whole story off air. I told you guys the last episode, still recovering from a facial car accident. So sorry if I sound like Mike Tyson at times. So my Ninja Turtle background wallpaper. But I like the fact that you said that you didn't go for the obvious. It's been done, chocolate. I mean, I love chocolate, believe me. I'm like a pregnant woman. I really do. So, but that's the neon, man. That's something. Yeah. If I wasn't just so eager to get to my seats to see Guns N' Roses, I would have waited too. And I might have saved. I don't think I saved these in order. So mine, I think right now, let's go to Fargo, which was, whoa, that blew a lot of people away. It blew me away. And again, thank you, Eric, for sending me one. It'll be framed. It'll be on my wall at the times I posted it online with my now deceased cat, Mr. Big, who was modeling it for me when you sent it. So obviously Fargo Dome, August 11th of last year. I mean, if you haven't seen Fargo, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. Right?
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites.
Was that the first thing that came to mind? And also, no slight to the TV show, and it's jumped the shark. Last season with Chris Rock, I bailed, but the season before that, when there's as soon as they introduced aliens, it's Fargo. Get out of here! All right, so the first like season, maybe two, were amazing. So, are you like you said it's one of your favorites? What was the last time you saw Fargo prior to making this? Did you like watch it again?
I actually didn't watch it again. I have. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but yeah, it was the first thing that came to mind as soon as I saw that they were going to be playing there. I was like, that specific scene too actually came to mind, just because it's so outrageous and sort of ridiculous that I was like, there's some way to turn that into. It's in the visual of it too is shocking, like in the movie, and so I thought there's got to be a way to turn that into something, for the poster.
Sure. And if you're listening again, I don't want to take it, assume everyone's watching on our YouTube. A lot of people are still discovering it. It's the famous wood chipper scene. I'm sure you've already guessed without even me saying it. And here, it's going to be a common theme, almost the opposite with the amount of colors. However, it's all you need. Just the white snow, the red of the blood, it's the guns, just the fonts. The only other on the skeleton you see his winter hat, which I love. You see the blood-soaked footprints. It's just incredible. And I'll ask this, but I guess I kind of know. I don't want to say I know the answer, but I don't think you ever gotten any pushback when you do something like this, where a lot of people. You said you got some. You get remarks about the ones that you do. Is it too violent for a poster? Can you see that? Did you get any of that? For this.
I generally don't get that. Sometimes I'll get, some people just like comment like brutal or something like that. So, in a way, I guess they're kind of saying like, wow, that's kind of, maybe a bit much, but I generally don't. No, I don't, and like you're saying with the colors, I wanted to keep it simple and make it work on a simple color palette, just because, it didn't, like you said, it didn't need anything else really.
And nothing else. I mean, it's beautiful. I can't wait to put it up. And again, thank you, Eric. And then it fits I'm a horror guy. I love it. It fits me. Let's check them out. Montana. Look at that, man. And I think I might have a question that goes along with the Montana one. Let's see if I have it. I do. All right. So let's ask a question for the Montana one. Sorry, don't go to Nathan Hill. If you have any friend requests, I'm just bringing up your picture. Don't accept anybody. Hey, Brando, are you still taking questions? Yeah. I don't need to read that part. Is the Missoula lithographs? Am I saying that right? As a Northeasterner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Missoula. Lithographs composition in any way an homage to Van Gogh's skull of skeleton with a burning cigarette. Why? He continues. Evel Knievel was a painter and an artist himself. And once said, "I know I can paint as good as Van Gogh and some of those guys." Long shot, but I had some prints the other day and saw some similarities and thought it might be a clever homage. Cheers, Nathan. And he puts out a back to back. So, what do you say to Nathan?
I say, no, not directly. I mean, that's cool. I didn't. It is definitely an homage to Evel Knievel, but not to the Van Gogh painting. I mean, I know that painting well. I have it in a book, and so maybe it is sort of unintentionally reference to that, but that was not on my mind when I actually drew that.
Okay, wow, good for you, Nathan, for pointing that out. And yeah, it could be a subconscious thing, but
Yeah.
that's brilliant. And you know what's great about your work? You have the obvious, which is obviously the Evel Knievel skull face, and you're looking at that. Then all the little subtle things. The side handle of the motorcycle, it has the Guns N' Roses logo. And in the bottom left, it's just that straight up tribute to Evel Knievel jumping over those cars. Is that kind of like a style of yours where you have the main, idea, then you want to kind of put in some other Easter eggs?
Yeah, I like to do that. I just think it makes the poster more interesting. Yeah, I just think like especially for maybe, for the fans that are going to want one, that they can kind of, get to discover a little bit of, a little bit of different things here and there, and in each design.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's from Grizzly Stadium, August 15th of 2021. So all right, what do we got next? Let's get off your Facebook, because I don't want everyone to find you. All right, so we got Los Angeles. Look at this one. Whoa, look at this one. So how do we describe with who is the inspiration behind the woman who just kind of blends into the sky with her earring that is the skull and skull cross, Guns N' Roses, and the axle. I mean, is it deliberately axle? Because it's always kind of like a generic skull, but that seems to be an axle skull, right? Because it's his hometown, no?
I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess it's
Not his
hometown now.
hometown, but like, yeah, obviously Lafayette, Indiana. I had a brain fart there, but like that's kind of like where he kind of is home away from home. I don't know. I was making that up. I think. You
But
tell me.
yeah, I mean, I guess
You
I
tell
feel
me.
like I feel like those guys. That's kind of their spot, right? I mean, that's where they kind of got their start and all that, right? Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So,
Right. That's what I thought.
so I mean, it is more specifically an axle kind of skull. There's no real like. There wasn't a real specific purpose for that, but that poster is based off of a movie called Chinatown, which was a famous movie in the early 70s. So I like that original poster a lot. So it's just an homage to that, but changing the elements for a Guns N' Roses kind of vibe instead. I kind of like that older Hollywood stuff too, and so I just felt like there was something there that could be cool to flip it for Guns N' Roses.
And I would just like, if I could, but I won't edit out this segment at all. But it's like I knew that was an homage to Chinatown, but I've never seen it. Like I know of it, so that's what didn't even.
Movie?
Yeah, you know what I'm watching right now? Showing you where my brain is at, but maybe you'll appreciate because you're kind of a comic book guy. I'm rewatching Spawn on HBO Max, the cartoon from 1997.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's where I'm at. It's just like I it's like Guns N' Roses and just random shit. That's my life. And I love and obviously I'm thinking, yeah, Guns N' Roses, quote unquote, hometown. They're an LA band. That's what obviously I know Axis from Lafayette. Jesus. And the Guns N' Roses logo, sunrise. I love that over LA. That's just a beautiful touch right there. So, all right. So let's go to Dallas. I've only been in the Dallas airport. So I love this one. This is just like Marlboro Man with his.
Yeah, so actually this is another homage, a poster. I think as we were kind of moving forward in the ideas for the posters for the tour, I think it kind of became like this feeling of like nostalgia. I think a lot of people had been, in their homes for the last year or two because of the pandemic, and we're watching a lot of old movies and sort of feeling nostalgic about sort of their lives and maybe the things that they liked when they were younger. And so this poster is an homage to a movie called Giant, which was it's James Dean. It's like a famous James Dean movie, right, with Rock Hudson and so anyway, it's an homage to that, because like I said, I think as we were moving along, we started to get more into that sort of mindset about design for each show.
That's from September 1st. And I'll tell you what, because there was a time, I guess pun intended, that I spent a lot of time watching Turner Classic Movies when I was taking care of my grandparents. So if you ever did like a lithograph about Clark Gable, I'd get it in a second. That I know. She watched all those, Ernest Borgnine, Frank Sinatra, he's a better actor than a singer. Okay, Grandma. I know. Let's go. Oh, this one. This is I wanted this one. This is a great lithograph because I'm a sports guy. We're going to Chicago right now, September 16th. This is the show that I wanted to go to. I've never been to Wrigley Field. I've just drove past it. Same thing with I don't know if it's Comiskey Park anymore, but I saw Soldier Field because I have been to Chicago just recently, but I have yet to go to Wrigley. I would have loved to have broken that virginity with Guns N' Roses, but wow, this is old school. The Big League Chew. That's the first thing you thought of.
Well, we had other ideas at first. I'm trying to think of the other ideas I had. I'd done a number of sketches, and none of them were kind of coming together. And I think some of it was movie inspired too. And we were like, well, let's take a break from that. And so the Big League Chew thing kind of, where I was thinking about old baseball stuff, and then, and this is another one sort of nostalgic kind of feel. Like it's obviously not from the '50s or like the Dallas one, but I remember Big League Chew as a kid, and I always kind of thought the drawing was kind of funny, and so it just kind of seemed to fit. And like the whole, and the early Big League Chew, I started to get into it when I came up with the idea. I started looking at the early packaging, and they had some funny stuff written on there. So I thought that would work well for the poster too, and just kind of have fun with it.
Yeah, you know what? Again, I find something new every time I look at it. My focus is somewhere else, which I guess explains a lot about me. Guns N' Roses Chicago, obviously, we're effing back, where you have to be careful, I guess, where you use the apostrophe. Shredding live music in 2 bullet points. Man-sized wads of music. That should be the name of their next album, hopefully. Equals 26 bands. Okay.
So on the original Big League Chew pouch, it says something like man-sized wads of gum or something, and then it says equals 26 sticks of gum. And so I just thought it would be funny to sort of flip it to make it work for Guns N' Roses.
I like it. I haven't had one in a while, but I have had, man, that and a zebra stripe, the gum that would last for like a second.
Oh yeah, I remember that stuff.
All right, let me see if I can just press next and have that work. No, I'm going back. All right, let's go back to next one. Okay, so this one is by far, I put up I asked on all my socials yesterday, and I put up all of yours, and this one was by far and away everyone's favorite. This is St. Paul, and
Yeah.
I immediately had to get this off I got the T-shirt off the GNR truck online.
Oh,
so this
cool.
is the Peanuts one, where Duff he's holding up the stand-up bass. We'll get into specifics, Slash on top of the piano looking like Linus, and Axel looking like Schroeder at the piano. I fucking love it. So I had to get this, and you'll appreciate this. I don't know if I got into specifics on the podcast yet. My mom is more obsessed with Snoopy than I am with Guns N' Roses. And you're talking.
Does she have a Snoopy podcast?
She doesn't know how to turn on a computer or have a cell phone, but that's another story. Put it this way. My first word, Brandon's first word, was boopy. I couldn't say the S. I can't say it now, I guess, with my broken tooth, Snoopy, but I was trying to say boopy. So according to my mom, that was my first word. So that's where I was, that's why I'm currently still in therapy. You go around my house, there's just Snoopy, stuffed animals, there's Snoopy cards, she has Snoopy necklace, Snoopy t-shirts, everything is Snoopy, Snoopy, Snoopy. It is just, there are some, we grew up, this is important too, with a Hanukkah bush, right? Just because, make us feel like we're part of the gang. Every single ornament on my Hanukkah bush, which is just a plastic small Christmas tree, that's all it is, it's not like a bush, was Snoopy. Every single one. And she would add a new one every single year. And that's like all around my house now. So she has a problem. So I bought her this shirt because, while she has a problem, I still love her. And she says to me the other day, because at first she thought I just bought it for myself. Like, why would I want this? Thank you. She's like, it's addressed to you. It's Guns N' Roses. I'm like, it's Peanuts. Yeah, but there's no Snoopy on it. Mom, I bought it for you. Like, don't you think that's cool that you wear it out if you ever go out with COVID? You have something from your son and it incorporates your son and you. What you feel. Yeah, I thought you might want to wear it more though. I would have bought it for myself. Wear it, Mom. Oh, okay, all right. Again, this is why I'm in therapy. She means well. So anyway, there's a lot of ways to go with going to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and you did a little tribute, which Duff does, the Prince logo on his base, Just
Yeah.
tell me, is Charles Schultz, is he, because he's obviously a very famous artist. Do you have any history with him and just Peanuts comic strips?
I mean, not really. I mean, I probably have the same history as every other,
Okay.
kid or, that grew up in the US watching the Christmas specials. And I actually like Vince Guaraldi. He's the guy that does the music. I actually like his music quite a bit, like the piano, his jazz.
Okay.
So I actually listen to that kind of, he did a bunch of other stuff besides the Peanuts music.
I'm sorry.
But I think that's what he got famous for. But no, I don't really have any specific history with that.
You just mentioned one. Who listens to the guy who does the Peanuts music? That's a pretty good one. I'll take it. And also, and you also never know, because Axel tweets about the Great Pumpkin all the time. Maybe that was her favorite movie of all time. You never know what you'll uncover. But so how did you just again come to that thought? Because she didn't know at first. She, in her infinite wisdom. Yeah, I'm somebody who can get wrong for in a second, a fact or two. But she didn't know Charles Schultz was from here. That she learned.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was, the same thing. I research each city to come up with something unique, and we were kicking around a bunch of different ideas, and but we wanted to do something fun again, and sort of, not too dark, kind of have, like, again, I think this, the tour, I think people were excited to get back out into the world, and that the earlier tour had kind of gotten. There's a lot of Grim Reaper kind of stuff in a lot of the imagery, and so we wanted to move away from that stuff. And so this was another one that was like, well, let's do something that has a little bit more, fun and nostalgia feel to it. And so like I said, we started researching, and there's like Peanuts statues and stuff around Minneapolis, and so we were thinking about that. And then I was like, well, why don't I just try to do it like they're, like it's the guys in the band as sort of as them with Axel's motorcycle, and so it just sort of evolved into this sort of idea that kind of came together, and it's definitely I think it is one of the fans' favorites from what I've been able to find out.
And yeah, even though my mom kind of regifted it to me almost, I said no, I can't wear it, Mom. Just you have it. It is one of my favorites. It's absolutely amazing. And I'll be honest, part of me debated getting Axel tattooed on me like this, to have that.
Oh yeah.
But I got I think I might still do it. But I got the robot from Appetite for Destruction on me from the Chicago factories when I was in Chicago recently.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, just amazing work, man. Just amazing work. All right, so next one. This one is very curious. This one's very cool. I'm wondering. This is from Raleigh, and it's a lottery ticket. So
yeah,
you can really scratch it. Was that your? Tell me about this. It's amazing.
so that actually, I mean, we were again kicking around some ideas, and I think it was one of the people I was working with discovered that I guess the gold rush had started in North Carolina, which I don't know how many people actually know that, but it started sort of in North Carolina and then moved west. And so then I guess the state of North Carolina does these lottery tickets that look similar to this, and we just thought it would be fun and different, like a very different idea to actually create a poster that you can actually scratch off like an actual lottery ticket.
I mean, it just the gold is so popping, and it's kind of one of those things.
It definitely doesn't look like your standard poster at all. So that was it was just a departure and try something fun and different, and so yeah, that's kind of where that's where that came from, and and the result was, it basically looks just like a giant lottery ticket.
It looks like I want to take it to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. That's like, that's what it looks like. So can I ask if people, because that's a big debate, do they actually scratch it off or not? That's devaluing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if people have or not. I don't, I think I've seen some that did get scratched off, and like the scratch off ticket idea, it wasn't my idea, actually. It was somebody that I worked closely with, and she had the idea, and it was like, no, that's something that's totally different. Let's try and see, if we can get it to come to life. So, but yeah, I think some people have scratched it up. I think I've seen some of them out there like that. I don't know if it devalues it or not, probably, but I'm not sure.
What's underneath though? Like, what can you win? Is it like McDonald's lottery where you can win like?
Yeah, there's nothing. There's actually nothing to win. We talked about that, and it just logistically was going to probably be too difficult to actually make it like a reward. So it's just like the date and venue information.
Oh, okay, all right. That's still cool looking, but yeah, that would have been. I don't know if you made
I
this.
mean, the original idea was that, like, let's do it where it's something that somebody can win something, and then, like I said, logistically, it became a thing that was like, I mean, I didn't get into any of that, but from my understanding is that, yeah, it was going to get to be too complicated.
Yeah, because these things are fought over in general. I don't think you want to throw money into it, like.
Yeah. So
on top of the logistics and everything, so. Oh man. Oh, that's cool. I think that might have been all. Did we do all 8? We just check. We unshare the screen and we just
I think so.
Yeah, because I think we did all of them. And I'm going to go to some questions too, or just read some of your comments. Yeah, that was all 8. And again, that's just this current, this tour that just happened this past year, and just how incredibly brilliant your designs were and the feedback. Okay, so let me just read some of yours. Obviously. Fargo is great. Los Angeles is great. I have the Hershey one. This is let's go to this is Andrew Antropow. Against my will. Sorry, I've been watching. See random stuff. I'm watching Degrassi, the next generation right now for some reason, because my fiance wants to watch it, and you know what? Back in the day, I did watch it, so I'm really not complaining too much. He writes, I have the Hershey one too. The neon colors are so vibrant. Love the execution on it, and a great poster for the first show back. Actually, you know what? This might be a fun one to share the screen again. Let's do that so you can see. So I'm not making up these comments, because some people do that, Arian. They'll make up emails and fan mail.
They'll fabricate that, really?
Yeah. I'm like, I can never, yeah, I'm not a famous person, but I'm not gonna make shit up like listeners that I don't have. 00 Pit fan. The Hershey one is really cool. Was there a lot of technical difficulties with it being the first show and over the year? Yes, there were. But it's still nice to see the band back in action. Yep. And Arian on the shows, because I went to 3 shows. I went to the Hershey show, Baltimore, and New Jersey, and just amazing times. Did you get to go to any shows this year?
I didn't go to any of them. No, I contemplated it, but it was just the COVID thing was still happening, and I was like, I don't know. And so, and the time schedule was real tight as far as like just deadlines. So I actually didn't get a chance to go to any of them.
Okay, fair enough. One of these days you'll enjoy yourself, Arian. Whole lot of Nope wrote Chinatown. The Chinatown Bite is the best. Oh, look at this one. Greg Penny wants to Fargo of the first 4 and Peanuts of the second, because Twitter just lets you post 4 pictures at a time. So I had to.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, look at this. A lot of people liking it. I mean, people love your stuff. Well, see, I'm asking about Barcelona. Is this yours, Barcelona?
That's not mine. No, that's a great one, but that's not mine.
I had to correct some people. I'm like, yeah, that's a good lithograph, but that's not an Arian Buhler. That's not what I'm. I want to ask some. Oh, come on, give me some good ones. Montana, Chinatown style. Look at that one from Kelly Rostaman. Riyadh said, here we go. All right, glad I found you, buddy. So I'm glad I found you, especially because of your handle at devious bastard, or excuse me, at _ devious bastard. Hershey stood in line for an hour and a half waiting for the merch truck to open so I can get one. And he just said, it was my first time seeing Guns N' Roses, so I didn't want to miss out on getting one. So just congratulations, you got an awesome lithograph.
Yeah, that's cool. That's his first show too. That was probably a good time.
Yeah, very cool. So I mean, you see, there's a lot of questions, and this is just on my Twitter. I mean, I asked the questions on my Instagram, and and Facebook as well. And your work is just beloved by this fan base. It really adds something to, just seeing your favorite band. It's just you're coming home with this piece of art you get to put on your wall and just remember it forever. Like every time I come into my house, I get to look at this awesome stuff, and I'm taken back. Now that I've gotten to know you, it means more than just Guns N' Roses. I'm just, yeah, this really talented person did research, and just this is top of the line, stuff that I want on my wall. So
I appreciate that.
You got it. So I want to ask, because again, you're a busy guy. What have you been up to? Because, I'm looking behind you again. If you're watching this on YouTube, I know you do a lot of stuff with the Rolling Stones. What have you been up to since the last time? I don't know. Like, how have you, I guess, because it's been a while. How have you been in COVID? You've been doing well? I hope so.
Yeah. Overall, yeah. Doing well. Like I said, moved. So that was a change, and been working the whole time. Haven't worked on any Rolling Stone stuff. And then Charlie Watts passed away, and that was, that was sad. I didn't know him, but I got to work with his granddaughter quite a bit, and she was really cool. And so that was actually surprised me that it affected me as much as it did. I've met him, but I didn't know him.
Okay, because I posted if you want to check out, because I'm posting a lot of podcast highlights on our YouTube page. I put up your first appearance on there, and one of the pictures I used to lap over the audio is you and Charlie. So
okay.
Was it just kind of like a quick picture, or did you get to say, anything
I got
to him?
talk to him. Yeah, I got to talk to him a little bit. I got to talk to him for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so.
Wow, see, that's not a little bit. 10 minutes with Charlie Watts. I mean, what did you guys talk? If I can ask, did you show him your artwork? Did you have an opinion?
He knew who I was from his granddaughter, because she's a designer also, and so I like I said, I worked with her on a couple of the tours, and then like I said, she had spoken with him about the stuff that I had done, and so yeah, and he was actually he was a designer sort of before he started with the Stones. He was a graphic designer from what I understand. So we talked about a little bit of that, and it was really cool. So.
Oh, wow. See, look at that. Arian, you're so humble. It's like I don't really know him, but I got to talk with him for 10 minutes, take a picture, and talk about, our passions. So I know you're not, rest in peace. I know you weren't besties and WhatsApping each other, but still, that's a nice moment. You got to
It definitely was. Yeah, I'm really, very appreciative of that time that he was willing to spend with me. It was cool. So, but I haven't been doing much. I haven't done anything for them. I've been working on a bunch of other stuff. I did a bunch of stuff. I've done a bunch of stuff for Motley Crue over the last year or so. So that was fun. I did a bunch of stuff for like a 40th anniversary for them. I don't, I'm pretty bad on social media. I don't post much stuff because I don't know. It's just not something I'm good at. I did a bunch of stuff for Motorhead and then kind of all over the map. I also did a bunch of stuff for Lenny Kravitz, which I used to listen to Lenny Kravitz a lot when I was, younger, and I still do. But like Mama Said album, I really liked that album when I was coming up. So, so I've got so it's cool because I've gotten to work with a bunch of different musicians and bands that I've looked up to and appreciated over the years. So I'm still continuing to do that stuff. And then the Guns N' Roses are going to be going back out on tour, and so sort of kicking some ideas around with that. And so, yeah.
Amazing. Too cool. And now I got to share screens again because you got to get better on social media. I mean, if I may say so, because
I'm bad. Yeah, I suck at it.
So let's bring up. Hold on. Let's share screen again. I'm so smooth. So let's bring up your Instagram. Your amazing social media. So, because you got this. Can you explain to me what an NFT is? I mean, this cute little mushroom with a little wiener. It sounds so weird out of context, but if you look at again, Arian Buhler on his Instagram, he's selling this little NFT fella. So, can you tell us about this?
So NFTs, they're confusing to me still. So I've had a couple of friends approach me that have gotten way into NFT stuff, and we're like, kicking around some ideas, and I came up with this little guy. And then my friends that are writers came up with a whole backstory to him, and so and NFTs are, you know, it's that non-fungible token. It's a way, like I said, it's confusing even to me, and I've been doing the art, and I'm kind of just starting to get into the world of it. It's kind of cool because it's based in cryptocurrency, so you can, you know, every time you sell, like every time somebody buys one of those guys, and there's a bunch of different versions of him, like with different facial expressions and stuff. Every time someone buys that, the creator, me or whoever has created some, gets paid for that purchase, and then every time that resells. So say somebody buys one, and then they resell it, then the creator gets paid for that too, and it goes on forever. They're minted in it, like they're minted through some sort of process, and then so they all have basically like some sort of tracking number, and so it continues on forever, and they're based in crypto. So that could be good or bad. I don't really know. Like if crypto goes up, then I guess you can make a whole bunch of money. If crypto goes down, well, then you don't have it. So,
What are my
but
brothers?
it's fun. It's a fun project. That's like, well, I'm trying something different and new and seeing where it goes. It's, you know, so we're just having fun with it. Really, that's all. That's really all it is at this point.
I mean, that's what the NFT looks like. And one of my brothers is so into cryptocurrency, which he's tried to explain to me too. So I do my best to understand it. And can you briefly, if you can, like what's the backstory then? If you have writers that came up with this backstory with this little shroom with a little wiener, is it funny?
So it's all based on, it's sort of the mushroom guy is all based on sort of, there's a story, and there's a link, you can find it if you Google it. It's
Okay.
like that mushroom is sort of connected to Santa Claus.
Sorry.
There's a story about this where this is where the mythology of Santa Claus comes from, is that mushroom, because I guess it has sort of psychedelic properties to it, and he was like I said, I read the story a while ago. I haven't read it in a while, but he is linked. That's why Santa Claus looks like this little dude, is because there's sort of this power, like I said, it's like the psychedelic properties of the mushroom made, you know, connected this creature that it was invented and with Santa Claus in mind. And so I'm not explaining it well, but that's what it's based on. And there's a whole, my friends that wrote the whole story, if you go on and this little guy's name is Brother Wangle. And so if you search him, you'll there's a little story behind the whole thing.
You explained it perfect. It entertained me. You know, I'm trying not to laugh because it hurts my face right now, but I couldn't help it. And I guess oh, by the way, here's the picture of you and Charlie. And is that your beautiful wife, or is it someone else?
No, that's actually that's his granddaughter. That's the one that
Oh,
I
never mind. Well, either way, good for him, and good for you. So let's go to that was weird. What is this? This was Dave Mustaine. You had to design.
I designed I designed like a Christmas sweater for Megadeth.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so he did a photo shoot with it. So that was kind of cool.
Okay, I mean, you just do so much stuff, and yeah, you have posted a bunch of your works on your Instagram. So keep it up. Oh, and I could show you this too. You don't need to share the screen here, and I'll end here because what reminded me of it was the pinball machine you have. So,
okay.
As I mentioned before, it wasn't this time around when I went to Chicago, and then would eventually get into a car accident. But again, I'm alive. The time before that, I went to Jersey Jack Pinball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I got to. It was just an amazing. I had a tour of the whole place, and I got one of your. Not yours, I guess, because it's a picture. It's an actual like photograph. Did I lose you?
Yeah, hold on. There I am. I'm back.
Oh no, you're good. All right, I just thought I completely lost you, but I have one of the. I don't even know what you would call this, like the inside.
Oh art. Yeah, I didn't do that. I didn't do that specific one, but.
Well, what about the guys at the top? No.
No, that's a guy named Dane Henry, who's a great illustrator too. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's an amazing artist. So I got to work with him on that project together. Him and I did the the graphic stuff for it.
Okay. Because yeah, I got
So
a tour from the from Eric Mune, the co-designer, along with Slash.
yeah,
Uh,
did you get to play that? Have you played it?
yeah, and it's funny. I always give this answer. I find myself wanting to watch it. You know, it's fun to play, but there's just
Yeah,
so much going on, and I'm just like, I kind of just want to watch it for like a half an hour, and then play it, and then focus on
yeah.
like something
It
like
is.
that.
There's a lot going on. It's really. I'm. There's one actually just up the street from me at an arcade here, like a 5-minute walk from my house. So I got lucky because I was talking to Dane, the other guy that helped work on the design stuff. The closest one to him was like 3 hours away.
Uh,
So he hasn't even gotten to play it or anything yet. So there's a lot going on, but it's definitely it's a pretty amazing machine that they put together.
Thankfully, there is, as I'm in Queens, there is one in Brooklyn, so I was able to play it before going to Chicago.
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah, I mean, if I ever have the means, I would love to have it in my house. I mean, again, it's just such a visually, not just the game, but it's a visually stunning piece of work, and it has all there's so many of your lithographs as the casing, the outside of the pinball, and it's just and to see that, to walk into the pinball factory and see all those sides and see your lithographs in its original form and in pieces and being used to wrap around these pieces of wood or plastic. It's quite a sight. And yeah, I had to brag. I'm like, oh, I know Arian. Like, again, I gotta pretend. Obviously, we're not WhatsApping each other either. But you're every time
Yeah,
I
yeah,
speak,
we know each other. Yeah,
yeah, you're very
that's
friendly.
cool.
Makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. So this was an absolute pleasure, Arian. This is so cool. I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Please follow Arian Buhler on Instagram. Make sure he posts even more. And just wow, just this was fun. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else? Again, you just want to promote any other weird NFTs? Just want to, before I get you out of here.
No, I mean we're going to be working on some other ones, but I don't have anything. I don't have anything at the moment to promote. Nope, I'm good.
All right, fair enough. Well, I guess that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. What is to come? We'll see. I did get a yes. I say I don't like to jinx myself, but I jinx myself anyway. For one, now we know why. The world knows why my interviews with Wolfgang Van Halen and Mark from Dirty Honey were postponed because of COVID. There's really no specifics given. I don't know if anyone's like sick like that, but just it's delayed, so that'll happen when it happens. And I got a yes from Mick Wall, believe it or not. I don't know if you're familiar. He's kind of a controversial figure in the GNR world with some books. He was one of the people famously called out and get in the ring. So hopefully Mick Wall will be on the podcast in the future. But in the meantime, just follow on social media. That's how the conversation continues in the between the broadcast at the AFD podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Arian's Instagram, all of that good stuff. So until next time, when will you see the next episode? In the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, I don't know if you'll see it. I don't know if soon is the word, but you'll see it. I'm still healing from the car accident. I'll blame it on that.